Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial for ADSR and SylenthTutorials.com. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel and you want to do that, you can at youtube.com/ADSRtuts. So as a quick demo of the pad we'll be making today in Sylenth. I know Sylenth isn't known for being a synth that is commonly used for pads, but it can do some pretty good pad sounds. So I do have some Valhalla vintage verb on the actual insert for the Sylenth. It's more of a luscious reverb. The reverb in Sylenth isn't the best for pads. It's a little bit too metallic to my ear, so I threw that on. So I have a new instance of Sylenth pulled up already. Alright, it's actually a pretty quick and easy sound to make. So first thing we're going to do is you're going to jack up the polyphony, because if you're playing chords, or like I was, you're going to want more than 3 notes. So I jacked that up, and we're only going to be using part A for this sound, and we're going to be using just your standard simple saw wave. And for the voices, I'm just going to give it 2, and I'm going to uncheck retrig, because like with a bass sound or a lead that's percussive or whatever, you want that retrigger because it retriggers the waveform, whatever you have in your oscillator. But with a pad, you kind of want that subtle variance, so that kind of helps. So let's go to the detune section and detune it up to 2.90 to give it a little bit of thickness and width, so almost 3. It's already a pretty cool sound. I'm going to turn the stereo down a little bit. I'm going to turn it down to about 6.6. And that should be all we have to do for the actual oscillator A1. Now let's go to our amp our amp envelope A, which is really important for the sound, because we're going to give it more of an attack time. So I'm going to drag this up to about 3.6. I'm going to give it more release, which is really common for pads, kind of help it extend when you let up on the notes that you're playing. So I'm going to push that up to about 7. Alright, so now in filter A, I'm going to select a low pass filter, and for the cutoff, I'm going to turn the cutoff down a little bit, which is going to end up killing a good portion of the sound. I'm going to turn this down to about 4.36. So you can barely hear sound right now, which is what we want, because we're going to be bringing that sound back in with our modulation envelope 1 down here. I'm going to check from 24 to 12, which will help bring a little bit more sound back in. Alright, and so we don't have to touch anything in the filter control, but we are going to go down to this modulation envelope 1, and I'm going to select cutoff A, because that's what we used here. And I'm going to turn the knob, this little rotary knob right here, up to 4.19. Alright, our 4.29 should work. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to turn the decay and the attack really, I'm going to boost them a good amount. The attack I'm going to turn up to about 5.75. Alright, and the decay I'm going to turn up even higher to about 8.5. And then, just like we did in the actual amp envelope, I'm going to give it more release. I'm going to take it up to about 6.5, or around there. Alright, and then to make it more of an expressive sound, I'm going to activate, in the miscellaneous box, I'm going to activate velocity. I'm going to have that tied to the cutoff A. So then as I play notes harder, or with different note velocities, I get a different sound. So I'm going to turn this cutoff up to 6.7 or 6.76. Okay, so now I'm going to go on to the effects section, and I'm going to activate the chorus, the EQ, and the reverb. And in the chorus, I'm going to use this to kind of thicken up the sound. So for the delay, I'm going to select a value of 26.81 milliseconds, so a considerable amount. I'm going to select a rate of 1.56 hertz. Make sure you have dual mode because it basically makes it have 4 coursing effects modules instead of just the single mode. It actually doubles it by a value of 4. So what I'm going to do in the depth, I'm going to turn up the depth just a hair. It's by default around 39%. I'm going to do it around 42 or 43. Alright, I'm going to dial back the width to about 80% or around there, and I'm going to turn up the dry wet a little. The reason I turned down the width was because I wanted to turn up the dry wet, and it was too much of an effect doing both. And then with the EQ, I'm just going to carve a little EQ here. So for the bass, I'm going to turn up the bass to about 12.3 dB. I'm going to turn the bass frequency to about 257 Hertz. Or around there should work. And I'm going to turn the treble down to about 7 dB, so just turn it down a little hair. And I'm going to turn the treble frequency down as well. I'm actually going to turn that bass down just a pinch more to about 9. Alright, and the reverb I just left how it was, so let me bring back in the drums. And that is pretty much the sound, guys. If you have any questions or comments, let me know below, and I will answer those for you. If you haven't checked out sylenthtutorials.com, head on over there. Tons of cool things, Sylenth. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.